We're here at this customer's house, and the issue that they've been having is kind of multifaceted. They've been having issues with the door closing and opening consistently, and then they've also been having issues with their keypad not functioning correctly. It's kind of a unique one, actually. So when we run into this type of situation, usually it's an indication of either the door either being worn or not functioning correctly, or it's directly related to the motor itself. It's the programming or the electronics of it aren't communicating with the motor correctly, and thereby it's not allowing the door to close. So normally in this situation where the door is coming down and kicking back up, usually that's an indicator that the eye sensors, which are the safety mechanism, are having issues. They're not communicating correctly. The motor thinks something's in the way and it's not going to let the door come down. So that's the most likely issue, so we're going to take a look at that first. The issue that we're having with the keypad could be a couple of different things. It could possibly be the logic board on the motor itself not communicating correctly, or it could just be the keypad is just getting old and it's just not functioning the way it needs to. So we're going to go through, take a look at both the eye sensors, the keypad, and then take a peek at the motor, see if we can't pinpoint exactly what it is that's going on. Oh yeah, they got some stuff going on. All right, so this is a pretty exceptionally old motor. It's from 2005, which, to give a perspective, we're pretty pleased if we see motors get to, around the 15-year mark, depending on the brand. So 19 years is exceptional. We usually say, it's been running on borrowed time. So in this one specifically, it's an older Craftsman. We have an incredible amount of wear on the gear and sprocket. So basically, you've got your motor sprocket gear here on the top that spins the chain that opens and closes the door. But with time, we get a lot of weight on that, and it eventually starts to pull it forward, once again, depending on how well the door is functioning and if all the other parts are working as well as they need to. But when we get that strain that happens for a long time, it pulls it forward, and then we get all these metal shavings underneath. And it's usually an indication that the motor's just getting old, or it's being taxed more than it should be. So we're going to point this out to them and kind of see what they want to do. Motors that are this old, it depends on what the customer wants to do. I always say, you're the boss, we can do whatever you want. But generally in these situations, new motors just have more value oftentimes, just because when you get a new motor, it's an entire new motor, rail system, electronics, wall button, keypad, so it just kind of freshens everything up, lets you go an exceptionally longer time without issues instead of just Band-Aid fixing something that might not fix the issue in its entirety. So we're going to check that out a little bit further and see what the customer wants to do. Coming back to the eye sensors like we were talking about before. So as I mentioned, it's a laser that gets shot across, and this one has been exceptionally damaged. The photo lens is actually broken, and we don't have the LED indicator on. Usually it's a amber or a green light, but it looks like it took a good hit, and it's likely the reason why the motor isn't closing right now. So it's the root of the issue, but we're also seeing exceptional wear on the motor. So once again, we're going to present options and just make them aware and see which one's going to work best for them in their situation. We like to go through when we do every inspection and just take a couple quick pictures of the door itself, the rail system, and then also the motor. It just gives us a good indicator to the state of the door was before we showed up and then after, and also if the customer has to call us back with any questions, we can quickly refer to it so we know what we're dealing with as far as type of door, size of door, type of motor, so it just makes it easier for the customer and us. So we're just getting some quick information, documenting it as best we can. We've also got some damage up here that I'd like the customers to see, so I'm going to take a picture of this so they don't have to climb up in my ladder. We've also got a very, very saggy chain, so this is very indicative of a worn or a loose gear and sprocket. This chain will sometimes get loose with time and age, but the amount that this is sagging, along with the wear and tear that we're going here, it's pretty clear that this is an exceptionally old motor, and along with the other issues, we're likely at the end of its life. But once again, we'll go over options with them. We'll see what's going to work best for them, just kind of make them aware of it. All right, so we went over options with the customer, everything that we just discussed with the eye sensors, gear and sprocket, and the keypad, and they've opted to replace the motor just because it's going to have much more longevity for them. These new motors have a bunch of quality life updates, but mostly it's a very quality motor. It's going to last a long time for them. I think they're going to be super happy. So this is our 87504. It's definitely our most exceptional motor. Comes with a lifetime warranty and some cool quality of life upgrades, like has a battery built into it so it can run without power. It's a belt drive, so it's exceptionally quiet. It's also a DC motor, which has more of like a whir instead of a grindy noise. So people really appreciate it, especially if they have rooms above. This customer mentioned that they have their daughter's room above and that she doesn't necessarily always appreciate being woken up, so it should make a big difference for them. So we're going to be replacing the keypad for them since this is an exceptional motor that they have currently. So this one unfortunately won't program to the new one, so we're going to end up replacing the keypad for them just so they can have accessibility from the outside. Having kids and stuff, it's kind of nice to have that. So we're going to update this with the newer model that's going to work well with it. So we just got finished installing the motor. Everything's looking great. We're just setting the limits. We're basically telling the motor how far to travel and how hard to pull. Everything's looking really good. We're just going to do a few test runs, go through tune-up and lubrication, make sure it's all quiet, working good for everyone. All right, so we just got finished installing the motor. We went through and did a tune-up and lubrication on the door, which basically we tightened up all the hinges, make any minor adjustments to the track that need to be made. Most importantly, we go through and we lubricate all the pivot points with a silicone lube. It's similar to WD-40, but it's silicone based. It's like putting motor oil in your engine, just keeps everything nice and quiet. So we're gonna bring the customer out, take them on a little tour, show them some of the upgrades that they got, make sure that they're happy with it. So if you guys have had any of these issues or any of this sounds attractive, give us a call. We'd be super happy to come out, take a look at it for you, see what we can do for you.